I used to think a winning year was about doing more. More goals, more habits, and more discipline. Every December, I'd sit down, hype myself up, write ambitious goals for the next year, and by March, I'd feel behind, overwhelmed, and quietly disappointed in myself. I told myself the same story every time. This year didn't work because I didn't have enough time, or enough motivation, or the right system, or the right mindset. But going into 2026, I realized something uncomfortable. The problem was never the year. It was how I was using my life inside it. And once that clicked, everything changed. Let me tell you the exact moment it hit me. It wasn't some dramatic breakdown. It was actually pretty boring, almost embarrassing. I was sitting on my phone late one night, scrolling, telling myself I was winding down. I checked the time. 45 minutes had passed. And I remember thinking, I don't even know what I just watched. That's when this quiet thought showed up in my head. Not loud, not motivational, just honest. If 2026 ends the same way this year did, it won't be because I didn't know what to do. It'll be because I kept choosing the easy now over the important later. That realization messed with me, because it challenged the belief I'd been holding on to for years, that I just needed the right year to finally get my life together. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear, and I didn't either. A winning year isn't built by big goals. It's built by small choices you stop negotiating with. That sentence became my anchor, because when I looked closer, I realized something else. Most of us don't fail our years dramatically. We bleed them out slowly. We misunderstand what time actually is. We talk about time like it's something that disappears, like it gets stolen from us, like we don't have enough. But time isn't money. Time is ownership. Every hour you spend is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Every distraction is a purchase. Every yes has a cost. And here's the uncomfortable part. No one is stealing your year from you. You're trading it. So I ran a small experiment. Nothing fancy. No new habits. No productivity apps. For 1 week, I just tracked where my time actually went. Not where I thought it went. Where it really went. I wrote down everything. Work. Scrolling. Breaks. Random YouTube rabbit holes. Conversations that went nowhere. At first, I felt defensive. I caught myself justifying things on paper. This doesn't count. I needed this. I was tired. But after a few days, the data stopped lying. I wasn't too busy to make progress. I was just busy avoiding discomfort, avoiding starting, avoiding finishing, avoiding saying no. The guilt hit harder than I expected. Not because I was lazy, but because I realized how often I was choosing relief over direction. And I know exactly what some of you are thinking right now. You don't understand my situation. This only works if you have flexibility. I'll fix this once things calm down. That's not laziness. That's self-deception. We fill our days with productive tasks that keep us feeling busy but not exposed. Answering emails, tweaking plans, consuming content about growth instead of doing the work. Feels safe. It feels responsible, but it keeps you stuck. Here's the question that changed how I look at every day now. If your life was a receipt, would you recognize what you spent today on? Because time isn't just passing. It's becoming your future. What you focus on becomes your identity. What you avoid shapes your regrets. And 2026 will happen whether you design it or not. That's the emotional line in the sand. So how do you actually make 2026 a winning year without burning out or pretending you'll suddenly become a different person? You stop trying to control everything, and you start designing your time on purpose. I stopped asking, what should I do today? And started asking, what deserves my best energy before the world takes it? Every week, I choose just a few priorities. Not goals. Priorities. Things that move my life forward even if nothing else gets done. I schedule those first. Before meetings. Before distractions. Before other people's urgency. And here's the hardest part. I say no more often. Not aggressively. Not dramatically. just intentionally. No to things that don't align. No to commitments that sound good but feel heavy. No to filling every empty space just to feel busy. This isn't discipline, it's clarity. Once you're clear, you don't need motivation. You don't need willpower. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You just protect what matters. And the results aren't flashy. I didn't suddenly double my output. I didn't become some productivity machine. But I felt something better. Less mental noise. Less guilt at the end of the day. More trust in myself. Progress started compounding quietly. And that's how winning years actually work. Not through hype, through alignment. Now, I do use a simple planning framework to keep this consistent. Nothing complex, just a way to map priorities to actual time so they don't stay intentions. I'm not saying you need it. You don't need any tool to do this. But having something physical that reflects your real priorities instead of your fantasies helps more than I expected. The point isn't the planner. The point is deciding ahead of time what your year is allowed to cost you. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 7 days, don't try to improve anything. Just notice. Notice where your time actually goes. Notice what you avoid. Notice what drains you versus what gives you momentum. And then answer this honestly in the comments. If 2026 ends exactly how you're living right now, would you be proud of the trade? Because a winning year doesn't come from wanting more. It comes from choosing better. And once you stop negotiating with what matters, the year starts working for you instead of against you.